Hey guys, this is Sam, aka Curbstop, and here today I'm going to show you my refueling station and a mission to the moon. First mission from this refuel station, launching from here to the moon. I was trying to make it back, but I do end up running out of fuel, or I don't have enough fuel, and I end up tipping over once I hit the surface of the moon, which you will see. So the second video will be a rescue mission to save this guy, but for now I will show you the... Originally, I planned on going to Minimus, but I scratched that and decided to go to the moon once I kind of saw my fuel consumption. So go ahead and I decoupled my lander, switched over to the lander, and I checked my RCS fuel tanks, which I honestly should have done before I decoupled, but noticed that one was empty. But then I see these next two have quite a bit, and I don't really need that much because this thing handles great with no RCS and just SAS. So I just use my RCS to thrust myself back away from the station. And then I go ahead and flip myself prograde. Use a little Mk.1 to help me out. As you can see, it handles great. I have RCS off. Mk.1 has no problem. And then my landing lights, they illuminate the station pretty well. Got my satellite there, which I actually think are redesigning because it looks kind of gaudy. Go ahead and activate my middle engine. Sorry about the no sound. For some reason, the video recorder didn't record sound. So I'll have to fix that with the second episode. And then I go ahead and thrust away from the station. And then go ahead and set up my encounter here. Fast forward it a little bit. And then we start our burn. And I notice that my middle engine, the burn time is actually quite a bit. I'm actually pretty impatient with this game. So I go ahead and I have my landing thrusters from the home station mod set up on an action group, and I just hit the action group and that increases it quite a bit, which I'm happy for. So I'm too busy looking at my fuel right here, and I thrust a little bit too much. Turn off my thrusters, throttle down. But we still have an encounter set up, so we're good. And it's actually better than the one that I had set up because it gets us right on the light side, which is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and we get a little map glitch right here. I notice the farther away I get from the station, the smoother it runs. I think it's because of all the little lights I have. Here I extend the panels, and then we fast forward to the moon. And once I got to the moon, I went ahead and just burned retrograde. To get my orbit set up, and then once I get to this side, I burn retrograde again and set up my landing. I like to come in at an angle instead of just burning straight towards the planet, because when you burn straight towards the planet, you get way too much velocity, and then it uses way too much fuel. So I like coming in at this angle here. As soon as I see it disappear, I just stop it, kind of see how things look. Take away the node, turn off Mk.1. I'm gonna put the panel in so it doesn't break, and time warp ahead over to the light side after I activate my landing thrusters. I get past 30,000 feet here. Or meters, sorry. Try using landing autopilot, but it didn't work. I didn't feel like figuring it out, so I just tried it manually, which is actually kind of a bad idea since I have never landed this thing manually before. I have actually never flown this thing before. So go ahead and kill my orbital velocity. Kind of get myself set up on a little bit shy of that crater because I don't really want to land inside the crater. Just keep burning here nice and slow. You always want to do nice slow burns here. Getting that retrograde node nice at the top of the nav ball. Fast forwarding a little bit here because like I said, I get very impatient with times like this. I killed a lot of my horizontal velocity. Coming down pretty straight now, with still about 8,000 meters to go, which is pretty good. Go ahead and get my gear out, but as you can see, I don't have much fuel. So there's no way I'll be able to take off again. So already at this point they are stranded on the moon. No. Coming in pretty hot here. Didn't want to use too much fuel, so I did one big burn. Killed a lot of my velocity. And then I see my landing lights on the surface. and I burn a little bit more. I get to about 5 meters a second, but I underestimate those thrusters and I end up burning a little bit too much, which I then overcompensate for by completely decreasing throttle, and I bounce off the surface about 8 meters a second, which is way too fast. See, I bounce, and instead of further making this horrible, I try to just let it fall, but it tips, and no, solar panel breaks. Do a small little attempt at the feet to try maybe flip it over, but it is unsuccessful, and they are stranded. So at this point I just decide I'll hop them all out, because they've been cooped up in there for days. Gotta get them out of there. Which is good that the hatch didn't land against the ground and I can get them all out, which means I can just hop them into another lander and rocket them back to Kerbin. Go ahead and get them all out, and I like the view, so I go ahead and get them in position, take a snapshot, and that's the end of the mission. Episode 2 will be a rescue mission with a better design of my lander to get these guys back. Thank you for watching.